All right, let's get started on this health bar. So keep in mind, if you use these videos, it will be obvious to me when you submit it, if you've used the videos, that you're really going to limit yourself to achieved, possibly merit, if you do some of the extra problem solving that I'm going to leave out of the videos. But if you do them, you will affect your grade. There's no possibility for you to get an excellence grade because you haven't done all the problem solving that was required. So looking at this, we're going to go to Object Player, and one of the parts was that you had to create a health bar. To do that, we're going to need to add in a way to keep track of our player's health. So we create a variable called ship health, and a good number is 100 to set it to at the start. While we're here, we'll create ship energy as well, because we will need that later, and we'll set that to 100. So now what we're going to do is add an event that checks if at any time our ship health is less than or equal to 0, then we're going to restart the game. We'll change it later, or you can change it later, so that when you run out of health, it goes to your game over screen. But for now, we're just going to end the game. Now, in order to reduce that health, we need to have some collision events. So collision with the object enemy parent. We're going to make that health, ship health, -20 relative. Okay. We are also going to destroy the other. So we're going to destroy the ship, and we're going to create an explosion at that location. Object explosion, other, relative. Now to add in the bullet events, so the bullet collisions, object enemy bullet. So ship health, -5 relative. And I'm just going to copy this, and add in an event, collision event with the object bullet big, and paste that, but I'm going to change it to -10. Then I'm going to add an event, collision, object boss blue bullet, paste that in, change it to 15. The boss is going to hit harder, of course. And add event, collision, object boss bullet, paste that in, and we'll just change that to 15 as well. So now we've got collisions with all the different bullets and the enemies as well. So let's go in and test it. What should happen is we won't see a health bar appear, but after a few hits, the game should just end. So let's see. It's kind of hard to do it with that drone there, but I ran out of health, game ended. One thing I will also need to do is on each of these bullets, I need to make sure that I destroy the other. Okay, so I'll just copy that and paste it onto all these. Okay, so it destroys the bullet so it doesn't keep hitting it again and again and again. So that's the health done. What we need to do is now draw that health somewhere on the screen. And I'm actually going to draw a rectangle. So these things here underscore where it says draw health, that's not what we want. That's like a global health variable. The problem is we can only have one of them. And we also want to use an energy bar, which is essentially sort of like a health bar, except we don't die when it runs out. So what I'm going to do is set the color for the health bar to a nice green, and then draw a rectangle. Now, I want the rectangle to be down here. Okay, I want the top left corner of the rectangle to start here, the bottom right to go to about here, or close enough. Okay, so to get here, I need an X1, Y1 position. I need to find out what that coordinate is on the screen. I know that the screen is 1920 by 1080. So this is probably around maybe 100 pixels from the left of the screen, maybe 120. And it's probably around about 120 off the bottom of the screen as well. So with that in mind, I'm going to go, the X1 is 120, and the Y1 is going to be room height minus 120. The Y2, or the height of it, is going to be minus 90. That means it's going to be 30 pixels high. Okay, so it's going to, the rectangle is going to start at minus 120 from the bottom of the room, and its lowest point is going to be minus 90 from the bottom of the room. Now I'm just going to put in a number here, 300, so you can see what I mean. Okay, so that's the left corner, and that's the bottom right corner. Now that's actually pretty close, but that 300 number won't change. So I actually need to make it so that it goes from that position always to whatever the health is currently set at. So as the health gets lower, the rectangle gets smaller. So in here, instead of that, I'm going to go 120 plus object player dot ship health times 2. Okay, I've already kind of calculated this part out. Now there is some parts that you'll need to change here. These 120s are not in the right place, and you'll see what I mean in a sec. Okay, so as I get hit, or these here, it kind of goes in there. You probably want to push it out about 8 or 9 pixels, and I'm going to leave that up to you. As I get hit though, that health bar gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Eventually it's going to get down to below 0 and the game ends. Okay, so you're going to need to figure out how to draw that perfectly on the screen. Secondly, we want to draw the energy bar. So I'm going to pick a nice blue for the energy bar. And we're going to draw a rectangle. Probably going to start about 400. Y1 is going to be the same. Room height minus 120. This is going to be 400 plus OBJ player. Make sure you view this in full screen, so that you can actually see what I'm typing, because I know that was a problem that a lot of people had. You were trying to read it in a tiny window, and brackets weren't looking like the proper brackets. The Y2 is going to be the same as before. And click the tick. Okay, now that's not in the right place. You can see there that it's too far from the left. Okay, so it's too far over, so this place here will have to come back a bit to the left. So you'll need to figure that out, figure out how to get these positioned as best as possible. Okay, if you can do that, that's going to add towards your grade. Whereas if you just leave it at the default, for some reason the energy bar is going down as well. Did I say, oops, I said draw ship health instead of ship energy. Okay, so that's there. So now we've got those things drawn. The next thing we're going to do is look at how to actually use that energy so that we can have a shield that gets created and then goes down as the energy goes down. And when the energies run out, the shield will regenerate, etc. Okay, so let's have a look at that in the next video. For now, you will want to fix up the position of these rectangles. Get them perfectly in there. You can change this multiplier here. So maybe make that a bit smaller, 1.9. Try some different values to get it perfectly inside that GUI. There is another way to do it, is that you could go into your sprites, life bar, and edit it so that this part here is invisible. Okay, and then in the HUD, draw these last, and then they'll come on top. So the health bar will show through that area. That's for advanced people that have been working with this and understand what they're doing. But the lowest thing that you need to do is really get these numbers here sorted. If you change this one to the same number. Okay, same with the other one.